Alright everyone, then they came for Computing Forever. We start off today talking about a rather high-profile ban, one of a number in the last 48 hours. Ben Garrison got kicked off Twitter, but this is about Dave Cullen, Computing Forever. By the way, there are links in the description, not just to my alt-tech platforms, but I'm actually going to pin in a comment his BitChute and Odyssey channels. Now, this is very funny timing, because Computing Forever, literally like a week or two ago, said he was no longer really going to focus on YouTube in order to focus on making video content on other platforms, especially BitChute and Odyssey. I think he also uses Minds. I'm not sure if he hosts his videos there, but I know he has an account. And the dude is maybe 5% more edgy than me as far as what he says and the topics that he covers. The irony is that I can't think of a person other than maybe myself, and I don't know of anybody else. I think other than myself, he's probably the most foremost proponent of #1 alt-tech and #2 anti-censorship. He's not a particularly edgy individual. The idea that he's fanatic is wrong, #1, and the idea that he would get banned now during this purge. Most of the purging we're seeing, it doesn't even seem related to anyone promoting insurrection or even talking about necessarily direct political issues in some cases. I don't think he had any new videos in the wake of the Capitol incident anyway on his channel. In fact, I think his most recent video there was a couple of weeks old. He gets banned in the middle of the night. I wonder if he's the sort of person who he had his phone vibrating off the hook and making weird noises and it woke him up at 2 a.m. or if he's the sort of person who just said fuck it and slept in and then he's going to wake up in a few hours and be like, oh, I guess it was good to move to alt-tech. I feel that way more and more every single day and have now for a number of years. Anyway, there are links in the description and I will pin them to those presences. But I'd like to analyze this from a little bit of a different perspective, which is that this is essentially the progression, another step in the prediction that I made some years ago, which is that when they began banning certain further right figures, when they went after the Milos and the Infowars, which Infowars is ethno-nationalism, or Lauren Southern, people like that, when they went after Spencer, when they started talking about the right stuff and deplatforming these sites, when they went after Torba. What was clear was that because the underlying problem that is conceived of by the mainstream doesn't go away by doing that. #1, you've taken that group, made them arguably more likely to be radicalized by separating them from moderate voices that might dissuade them from things. So that doesn't solve the problem. You incentivize them to create their own networks that are beyond your control, so it doesn't silence them, it just creates a potential purity spiral, which is potentially dangerous. And #3, you still have edgy people. If the problem that is perceived is you have people with weird or extreme views on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever, you don't get rid of the edge by banning people on the edge. You have simply created a new edge. With the banning of David Cullen and people like that, I'm on the edge. I'm probably part of the edge that gets banned next. And that could happen tomorrow, it could happen 2 years from now. I no longer believe that I'm likely to be on any of the mainline tech platforms beyond the intermediate future. Why? Not because I'm breaking TOS, not because I'm fomenting extremism, not because I'm encouraging violence, I'm not dealing drugs, I'm not making porn, I'm not doing weird shit. I'm just analyzing politics. See, it's people like me that are really the crux of the problem for the lamestream billionaires. The fascist billionaires currently staging a de facto coup and interfering in the political system of the United States and indeed the Western world are more frightened by people like me or Dave Cullen than they are people who are never really going to take root in the general population ideologically because their views are 5 or 6 steps removed from what would be considered the norm. The fact is that promoting free speech and promoting maybe we shouldn't bomb people, anti-globalism in the general sense, that's what they're worried about. Dave Cullen is not an extremist. He's not a violent individual. I could go back through his catalog. It's still on BitChute. Why don't you look for yourself and try to figure out what the commonality is why he would be banned? But ultimately, it's about more than Dave Cullen. I'm going to promote him because I know he didn't do anything wrong and the ban is bullshit. I don't even know that he'll bother to appeal it. It's happened increasingly. Major creators are saying, fuck it, going to other platforms that are beyond the reach of groups of Zuckerberg or Sundar Pichai, and they're cutting loose. They don't care anymore. I've taken a hybrid approach. I've tried to use the mainline presence to to increase the alt-tech presence. It works. It's paid off. Cullen has done that to some extent too. I'm wondering if maybe it's not because he's advocating for Google's competitors. That's a possibility. I just got Proton Mail, by the way. I finally got around to doing that. I've been dragging my heels for years. I actually, I guess, had an account and it was in a gray area, like I never really finished it off or anything. So I've got a Proton Mail. I've quit Twitter. I just have it. Basically, it's a direct messaging machine now. And Gab, by the way, it's fun to antagonize people there too. So, you know, it's just as fun as shitposting on Twitter. Probably have more people on it in a year. Parler too. By the way, other update, Amazon did pull Parler, although somehow they're still up. I don't know, how does that even work? Parler needs to do what Gab's doing and just buy its own servers. They should probably not put them in the United States, though, because Beijing Biden is literally applauding the billionaire's fascist coup at the moment. And that's what this is. Maybe Cullen defended Trump too vigorously. Maybe he was too vociferous about the need to decentralize tech systems. Maybe it was just him honking his clown nose at the world and saying, you know, things are fucked up. You do realize that this is an aberrance that we're currently experiencing. So now we're the edge. Again, libertarians and classical liberals, we're the edge now. By the way, I love it when the skeptics have completely sold out and they're actually applauding fascism. They don't even seem to realize it. I'll be analyzing that later as well. So yeah, check out Dave Cullen's material. He's makes some good shit. It's a bit more refined than my style of making things. A bit more editing involved. Has a series of cartoons of him, and he always like puts them in, and it's kind of cool. I'd do that, but it would take effort. He puts in more effort per video as far as the editing department goes. But he's been staunchly, for years and years, he's been a staunch advocate of non-violence, not fucking around with people, free speech, and not being abused by corporate powers. If he's considered to be too edgy for a site like YouTube that was built by bum fights and Tourette's guy, don't you think that the clankers are next to go? At this point, I'm not surprised when they ban people who have huge audiences. At this point, it's almost expected. It's like, yeah, I expect when I wake up in the morning, I can call up Nate Silver there and give him what are my daily odds of trying to log in and finding a pink screen of death at this point. So again, links in the description. There will be a pinned comment as well, but it'll be to his alt-tech presence on this particular main video. That's about all. Peace out.